Dance is the hidden language of our body and soul. Every time I dance, I am happy. It's like magic. Welcome you all to another episode of Gin and Ginger, where we talk to some inspirational people and we listen to their journey of success and happiness. Today I have Irene with me. She is a clinical dance therapist and the founder of Expat Wellbeing. Let's welcome Irene and hear her story with her own words. Hi Irene, how are you? Welcome to Gin and Ginger.
Yes, when I'm asked this question, I always really try to really check in with myself. I think I'm quite okay right now.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a calm excitement also because we are doing this interview, and I'm really feeling my body, my butt on the chair.
So you're like feeling all parts of your body here.
Yes.
Present here.
Yes,
with me.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yes.
wonderful actually. That's an awesome start.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, you are a clinical dance therapist and you are also the founder of Expat Wellbeing.
Yes.
How it all started, what's your journey and how did you get motivated to create Expat Wellbeing?
Really beautiful question. Yeah, it is really something of my personal journey. I came to the Netherlands. Yeah, I've been an expat in the past 15 years. I came to the Netherlands 13 years ago. So initially to do my PhD at the University of Twente. So I had a different career back then as well. So I was an engineer, design researcher. So I was a lot in my head, like doing kind of thinking and writing my thoughts.
The PhD phase.
Yeah, exactly. It was really stressful as well,
Yeah.
and the adaptation, it was also kind of transition. PhD is kind of a long transition from being student to working life, a bit in limbo, but so at some point, I completed my PhD and then I worked for some years in the software industry, and at the same time I was also kind of struggling with my mental emotional challenge. Like I felt, as probably like it's a lot of expats experience that as well, like a sense of loneliness, not really
away from
belonging. Yeah, and I'm not really close with my family. That's also kind of the backdrop of everything that I felt really the isolation really strong. And then also I started doubting is this work that I want to do for the rest of my life? So there's a bit of existential crisis as well.
So there were questions arised in your mind,
and then in the end it all came down to depression. So I was diagnosed with clinical depression.
And did you understand that yourself or somebody helped you or you reached out to?
I was already I already felt depressed actually since early childhood. But trying to kind of reach out, but because of I didn't have the skill also to express, to communicate back then. So it didn't came across that I have problem. And also during my times, when I was doing PhD, I already reached out. Here, it's people usually go to the GP, to the house arts.
Yes.
I felt also not heard. I was already crying there, and then the house arts was there's usually at the university there's a university kind of counselor or psychologist. So I had maybe 2 sessions with this young psychologist. And I felt also not understood at all. So that was kind of a bit alright. I felt a bit they shut me down. It seems like I couldn't find any help. But I was still keep kind of really fighting to get what I need. Hey, I really need give me a therapist, a psychologist, and so I came back to the house arts. And then I got the referral. That's you need that, if you wanted to have covered with the insurance. And then I had psychology sessions with my therapist, and it was helping in some points because I was really at the depth of this isolation, just to really talk with someone. But I felt also I really need to do my own work. So I was really looking at mindfulness. So I did some retreats, and then I also started looking into I was already dancing a lot, and I felt there's a certain something with dancing, you know. So I looked around and I found out, whoa, there's dance therapy.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
We never think about dance we all dance, but we never think that it can help us in a therapeutical way.
Yeah. So that was kind of it's little pieces being laid out in front of me.
Like a puzzle being solved.
And so I decided, I was still working as a software engineer, and I started doing course in dance therapy, and that also brought me a couple of years later to Rotterdam. So I've been living here 6 years almost. Because I followed through with the master education at Codarts, and this was really integrative. So I was not only using my head, thinking, but also my body and my really getting back in touch with my emotions and my creativity.
When did you founded Expat and Wellbeing? It's been
it's been a couple of years. So I graduated from the dance therapy program in 2017. And then for a while I was I felt I have my own vision, this is how I want to do it. But in the beginning of spring of 2018, there came the idea. Look, I've been trying to cast my net wide, helping all sort of people, but I look back to my own life story. Hey, the internationals, the expats, there, and I remembered all my struggles getting this professional help in taking care of my mental health, my well-being, and that's kind of the push that drives me to I have this idea, it will be for international, it will be community-based, and it's also integrating not just talk, because I think a lot of us in this world, we talk so much,
not taking action.
Cognitively also, but it's integrating also mindfulness, creativity, and really coming back to the body, because that's often forgotten. And I pitched it at the Operation Lounge at the CIC Rotterdam, and that's when it all really got wow, I want the space there for 3 months, and I really felt right, I really need to make this happen. So it was also a stressful start as well, stressful period, but it's still going, and I'm still passionate about it. And
absolutely, and I actually is very lucky to join one of your dance movement in the Women of Truth conference. And what I really loved about your session was how easily you made all the ladies and the whole community there standing just talk to each other and give high five. It's it just broke the ice like this. And it's very, communication is very a topic that I really personally like to develop in. And it was very funny psychologically ways, because I saw that the whole day we were together, but we didn't talk to each other. Not everybody was talking to each other. I think it was like a resistance. You can say hello, hi, how are you doing? All this, blah, blah, blah. But that session, we always were laughing at each other, we were dancing with each other. It was just like that, and that was beautiful transition for me. It was oh, I need to know you more, So for me, that was that's the impression that I had from that session, and it's beautifully done by you.
Yeah, well, it's also really good observation.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's not only me doing the work. No? It's all of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we all long for this
Just
human to human connection.
Yeah.
You know? Not okay. We were all like professional women there, but I think deep inside we are also human.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what I want to facilitate people to get back in touch again.
And you are doing it wonderfully, I'm sure, because I was there and I saw it.
Yeah.
My second question. So you, in your website, I was going through your website and I saw that one of your main mission is to eradicate the taboo that we have with mental health issues.
Yeah.
And I believe personally, because I read articles and I have friends, I believe that mental health issue is something which is very serious and is becoming more and more serious over the years as the years are passing. What breaks my heart, is to see that young students, bright students, rich people, creative people are like taking their life at such a young age, or just like that, and they are committing to suicide. And it's such a loss for me to feel that, like, if you see the creative people just killing themselves because they couldn't take the pressure. For me, I feel like it's a big loss. So, since you are studying into this for so long and you have experience, what would be your thoughts with it? How can we help with this problem that we have?
Yeah, I would approach it like mental health is also it's something that builds up. Like when people already have like the thoughts of let's just end it. It's I can imagine how deep suffering they must be in, and that they feel there's no way out, there's no one there to help them, and this also doesn't happen overnight.
No.
Like it is a long process.
Yeah. It builds up over time.
Exactly, and that's through their experience up till now, and I think the beginning of it, mental health issues, it can be really simple, like now I'm sure most of us also have our mental challenges. We often are stressed.
That is always the stress.
And or we worry about things, and we
overthink.
We overthink.
Yeah.
We worry about other people think about us. Social anxiety.
Correct.
Yeah, and this also really affect our capacity to connect again, human to human. Sometimes we forget that, and we forget who we are and why we are here, and I think that's kind of if we are going in that direction without stopping, sometimes slowing down, kind of getting back in touch, being aware again, hey, where am I? What am I doing here? And that's kind of it can build up towards something that's very serious, like suicidal thoughts. And
it's important. Do you think it's also important to find the purpose in what we do, having a meaningful purpose? Nowadays, I think with our stress and work stress, I think many of us work, but we don't know why are we working. Maybe it's just that's what the traditional way has been. Like you are an engineer, you did a PhD, but you realized that was not what you wanted, and you did determine a different path for yourself. But not many people are doing that. So do you think it's also important to find a true purpose that really makes us happy, and we continue doing that maybe?
Yeah, not only purpose, but also kind of look at kind of your life in the bigger picture. The other day, this is maybe a bit off topic, but the other day
that's okay to share.
I was giving a session at Venture Cafe about your total well-being. And I have a framework for that, which is inspired by the Maslow hierarchy of needs. You're familiar with it? So there's of course purpose is at the top. I think there's even beyond that, but it's probably for another discussion. But to support purpose, we also need the foundation.
Correct.
So thankfully here like we have a roof above our head and we are in a quite safe country. But it's also like, how is the vehicle, this body?
How is it feeling?
Yeah, how are we taking care of it? How are we nourishing it? And also, like beyond that, there's also like, the sense of connection and belonging, and or self-esteem also.
Sense of belonging. That's a very powerful one.
Yeah, and the feeling that we are a part of something, that we contribute something. So that's purpose is, I'm aware it's quite a big word, especially among professionals. Yeah, we do want to bring our value. But it's also to kind of to look at our life story, like in a really the broadest sense.
Yeah, do not get lost in the success and the bigger all the work that we do. The definition of success is so
exactly
big.
Yes. And like if we are only like chasing purpose, that can also like drive us like really ignoring everything else. And
so it's like more of a balance, you want to say.
Exactly.
It's the balance that makes necessary for us to understand.
Also honesty, like to yourself, like okay, like we can chase purpose because we are overcompensating for something. We want recognition, or we want I don't know, we want a revenge. So that's what we need to be aware of.
Wow, it's so deep the way you think. It's really nice. I have a silly question, I think. But I have no silly question. So about your dance movements, how do you use your movements in therapeutical way? And does someone need to be a good dancer to join your sessions and get benefit from them? It's silly, but I have to ask you.
I tell you a secret, Smriti. Everyone is a dancer.
Oh yeah, like the bathroom dancer?
No, everyone is a mover.
Yeah?
Even now, like, we are sitting here, but we are still moving with our breathing. And you're also gesturing, like, okay, you're confirming, like, yes, with the nodding, with the gesture. So it's really, the name can be intimidating, I'm aware, like dance, therapy, what? Get together, what? No! But it's really about, what I also often call myself, I just work with the body-oriented way. Because, what we think, what we feel, or even our personality, our patterns, that I think, that often shows in our body, in our posture, in how we move, in our habits that are visible.
Correct.
So that's what unlike traditional therapy, like we often like talk and talk and talk, and we are engaging here only. So dance therapy is more experiential. So I'm also taking in, like, I'm observing, like, with my whole everything, with my body also, like, what do I feel like when I meet my client? And I observe, like, how's the posture, or how's the movement qualities, and try to make the connection. Okay, is this also like, like, I give my observation, like, hey, I see like you're moving always in this way, this comes back often, and could you connect that with your daily life, like, is this something of a theme in your life?
So you give feedback.
So the movement is for me a tool of observation, but also of intervention. Because like when we like we know, quite often we already know here, like, I need to change this, but the technique, the how, it's kind of like So there's it's also like connected with how our brain works. So when we move, that also creates new connection, kind of refreshing perspective in our brain. Like we actually, in my profession, we the basic of it is really on our neuroscience. So really how our brain works. And movement is it also opens up like new possibilities, new pathways, neural pathways.
Correct. Yeah.
So the neuroplasticity.
I love what you said. Everybody is a mover. That's true. Yeah, if we think in that way, then dance therapy doesn't sound so scary anymore.
I was for a while. I was also like looking. Shall I call it dance therapy or movement therapy or body-based therapy? And then you know what? I'll just leave it dance therapy. It's for the brave ones.
But also in the session that I attended of yours, it was funny because I noticed that not everybody was dancer, but nobody cared after a while. Everybody was just throwing their arms everywhere, and it's just the feeling that you are free and you are releasing your all tensions outside.
Really good observation, because that's really our longing as human. But often we don't allow it because of the social construct.
Yeah, who is noticing us? That's true. And it's also very bad of us to think in that way. But that's how it is. Okay, so we don't need to be a dancer to go to a therapist. My last question to you. So in Gin and Ginger, I really want to embrace the idea of having a good community, of having friends. I'm also an expat, and over my years of living abroad, away from my home country, I realized that having even one friend is very important. Having the person with whom I can communicate my all fears, all good things, bad things. And it had helped me a lot to open up with my friends in past, and through Gin and Ginger I want to share that to people, that being vulnerable is very important. But you have to know with whom you are being vulnerable. That is that you have to choose. But in your you have 13 years of experience of living abroad, and so much you have gone through and so much you have achieved. What would be your take on that? Do you also agree with me? And how was your journey in terms of meeting people, community? Do you think community is very important for our well-being?
Hell yeah! That's again like the sense of belonging, and I think you're really right. Like it's you also need to choose carefully who you can be vulnerable with. And I think that's the tricky part for a lot of us expats, because we are often like maybe ourselves are temporary, the friends we build also are maybe temporary, they leave or they get busy, whatever. So that's really like my mission with Expat Wellbeing is also to create this safe space,
community,
for the community, so that they feel it's okay to share their fears, their vulnerability, because that's actually what gives us strength as well, to own our vulnerability, and then like only then then I can work on it. What was your question again? my thoughts about community.
In your experience, did you meet people who helped you when you were going through hard times? How was the community around you helped you? In a good way, bad way? Do you give credit to them now that you are in a good space? You are creating and you are helping so many others. But now when you see back, do you see that, there were people who helped me to come here where I am today?
Yes, for sure. I think like we all have our angels, and it manifests in so many people. Now I have to think of in the most difficult period of my life, it was also it's probably quite contradicting, because I had a good friend there, but she really had no idea what to deal with depression, and I was crying on the phone with her, and some words of her, because she didn't know what do I say to Irene, and it was even making me even more even my best friend she didn't know Yeah, of course, like, I'm still friends with her. Yeah, the community, I think that's really what's helping me, like, because I felt also like, when it's really serious mental health issue, like sometimes it's also too heavy for friends, because they have their own life going. So I was really grateful for my therapist. But also, like, I practice mindfulness, so I found my community there as well. And it's actually really really beautiful. I went to Plum Village. I don't know if you know.
Plum Village.
Yes, it's a mindfulness community led by Thich Nhat Hanh. So he's my kind of one of my spiritual teachers as well. So I went to the monastery in France. I stayed there for a month, like during the winter. So really lived among the nuns and the monks, and there are also other lay people who were staying there. And this was really kind of the sense of community that was nourishing me. Like we practice, of course, mindfulness on our day-to-day life, like during our stay there. With the intention, of course, we bring it after we live there, that we can apply it ourselves in our life. So this was
that helped you. That was a sense of community that you found.
Exactly, and that sets the foundation also. Like, I was like feeling so alone and so hopeless, and then there's this community and
who understands you.
Yeah, and this is okay, like if I cry, no one gets panic, like what?
Nobody judges you as well.
Exactly, this compassion and acceptance, that's really important.
True, I was reading some articles, and also I came across somebody who had been going through depression for a long time, and I was listening to the interview of this person and the family of this person, and the family was saying that we know that she is suffering, but we just don't know how to help her. Like, we don't know when the clouds are getting dark, because in the morning she's fine, the next morning she's feeling extremely bad, and we just don't know what to tell. So we understand it, but don't know how to react to it. So it also tells that you need some professional help, or somebody who has gone through or a community where you will not be judged and you're just left to be alone, and you're just in a safe environment, I think. And you are saying the same thing. It's difficult for many people to understand also. Not that they don't want to, the intention is there, but it's just that they don't know how to help. So we need to find people who understand.
Because also every one of us can also practice that acceptance, because quite often what I notice is that we cannot just bear like seeing other people suffer. That's why we are so eager to help. Like, hey, like, do you need this, or shouldn't you that, shouldn't you this?
We give advice.
Exactly, and that's actually kind of like, in my experience, like I felt like, no, you were not listening to me, you were not seeing me, and I think that's kind of
that's a big one.
That we also need to stay with ourselves, when we see someone suffer, like with compassion. Hey, I see you're suffering. Maybe now you're not ready to tell what you need, but I'm here. That's it.
Give the space and the time to help them. Oh, that's really a big one. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your journey, actually, your life journey with Gin and Ginger. I'm really happy that you came and you shared so much and so deep feelings that you have for your life. Thank you so much. And I'm sure my audiences will experience a good feeling from this and will take few points which helped us and make us stronger. And that's the idea of Gin and Ginger and the community that I'm trying to build, is to help each other and to inspire each other, not to feel alone. That's the point.
Thank you so much for
having
me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.